welcome back. This is the conclusion of the video I did earlier in the year for spring cleaning, and what we're doing is we're conquering clutter and we're organizing the sea of clothes that our children have accumulated. This can also be used, this system can be used for fall and winter cleaning. So I'm going to go ahead and get to it. Before we get into the second phase, I want to quickly review what we discussed in the first video. The first step was to create your master list, and it will itemize the clothing and shoes. It'll have the children's names, and you'll designate a maximum amount of clothing that you want them to maintain. For example, I've talked about pajamas. You may want the maximum amount of pajamas to be 3, so you would write that on the list. And then your second step, you do all the laundry in the house and you put the clothes in the appropriate room. Don't worry about folding and putting them away, because on step 3 we talked about doing a drawer drop where we clean out all the drawers and closets. Once you've removed the clothing, you're going to sort through everything, also the clean clothes you did as well. You're going to have your donate pile, the pile you're going to keep and put back in your closet or drawer, and then you will also have a pile to put in your storage. Maybe it's off season, or the size is too small but you want to pass it down to a younger child eventually. So you'll sort in those 3 categories. Okay, and then you'll go ahead and neatly fold and organize the clothing that you want to put back in the drawer or closet. Okay, and then step 4 is you're going to take an inventory. Okay, when you're doing your inventory, you're going to count how many of each item you have in the drawer. For example, if when you went back and folded your clothes for pajamas, you only had 1, then you would mark 1 on your master list, so that when we come to this next phase, you have a good idea of how much of the clothing you already have. So once phase 1 is complete, you got your master list, your laundry, your drawer drop, and your inventory. Then we're going to talk about today, phase 2. And the way I've been doing it is I will write on the index cards. I'll have 1 index card for each child, and I will list the item of clothing or shoes, and I will calculate the balance for each item, and that's what they'll use to go shopping. So again, if we go back to the pajamas, I may have the child's name, and next to PJs or pajamas, I would write 2, because the maximum they were allowed was 3. They have 1 in the drawer, so they can get up to 2 pair of pajamas, and that goes for all your clothes, you know, your skirt, t-shirts, underclothes, just everything, socks even. And then once you've done that, you're going to move on. I like to make it a little interesting, so I put optional. You can assign the children a budget and give them artificial money. Mine really like this. It helps with their math skills, and they really feel like they're, you know, going shopping for real. So they enjoy that. Okay, so once you've gone ahead and listed the maximum amount each child can get, it's time to shop. And a lot of times they'll help set up the shop, and I give them their index card, their little list, and we start off with our home shopping. And then I'm always, you know, available there to help them sort through the clothing and help find things. Sometimes it can be a lot, especially for the younger children. Okay, so they've done their shopping. Phase 3 is I go ahead, I take their index cards, I review the purchases they've made, and as I'm doing that, I mark the cards. Say, for instance, again, the pajamas. Say they can only find 1 pair of pajamas in our home shop, then I will mark that they found 1. And that helps me on the next part when I want to go ahead and total the items and determine what balances they have. Now, keep in mind, the master list, when you assign the maximum allowable amount of clothing, is only kind of a guide. They don't have to have 3 pair of pajamas. 2 would be sufficient, but you kind of give them a little room for, you know, if they want some variation or whatever. If you've noticed, though, on your card they have only 1 pair, then you may really want to consider, you know, buying them some more pajamas or whatever the clothing is. So once that's all done and I've calculated, you know, what's left over, then I keep that index card in my purse, so when I'm outside of the home shopping, I can go ahead and refer to it very easily. Okay, so once all of that's done, the note cards are complete, then you go through all the remaining clothes and you do another sort. You're going to separate which ones you want to donate. And you see we had a lot that we donated. We just purged. I realized, now that our youngest is a boy, some of the younger little girls' clothes I went ahead and donated, or I may think of someone that I would like to pass it on to personally. So you're going to go ahead, separate what you're going to donate, what you're going to put in storage, and then you clean up everything. Okay, so that's pretty much the system. On the side, though, you may notice your child wants to exchange an item or one of their purchases doesn't fit properly. You can use your judgment on how to exchange that. Just try to keep it simple. That's happened to us a few times where they actually tried it on and they realized, wait a minute, this isn't quite fitting properly. So, and then finally, I mentioned in the first video, there are some life skills that we are also learning from this experience. And you see those listed there: organization, responsibility, good stewardship, gratitude, budgeting, generosity, giving to charity. So let's do one more final review. And we talked about phase 1 in the first video. You're going to have your master list, do your laundry, your drawer drop, and then take inventory of what you have. Phase 2, you're going to record your data on your index cards, assign a budget if you'd like, and go shopping. And then the final phase 3 is to review and mark the cards, total your items and calculate what the balances are, and then go ahead and sort remaining items. And that pretty much is the system. I find it to be very easy and helps me maintain some kind of order concerning our sea of clothes. And again, I do this usually spring and fall, and it seemed to be very helpful. So I hope this clearly explains the system, and I look forward to your feedback. Shalom.